Hello everyone, my name is Karen Ellis. I am the newest contributing writer for the Canadian Scrapbooker magazine and I could not be happier. Thank you so much for joining me here on this site, on the video. And I am going to show you how to create this composition book as featured at the end of my article in the Canadian Scrapbooker. So sit tight, let's go ahead and do this. I'll show you how to do the stamping on styrofoam technique that I showcased as a step-by-step in the magazine, and then we'll take it a little further and I'll show you how to felt it and then sew up a personalized composition book cover for you. Okay, so we're getting started here. Here's my styrofoam plate that I had etched in it with chopsticks like I did in the article. So it's all ready to go here. I'm just getting my paintbrush. Remember I said please as a tip, don't have it too wet because you want it to, you want to be able to have a nice layer on here. And there we go. There's a nice thick layer. And you don't want to water it down because the water will just kind of come right off the styrofoam. I'm just going to move it this way so hopefully you can see. And I am blending these as I go through. Now there's a couple of, just getting the issue. There's a couple of layers of blue. Now I want to go to a lighter color. I probably should have done the yellow first, but just rinsing off my brush, getting a lot of the moisture off of it, and I'm going to add the yellow. These are the Claudine Helmet Studio paints. She also has them in the trial forms, which I'm using right now, that come in packs. But I know in the article I also used the Jenny Bolin Dabber paints. You can use any acrylic paint for this. So there we go. It's all painted up. I'm just going to get some of this off my craft mat here. This is the Ranger craft mat. If you don't have one and you'd like to use inks and paints and stuff, you really should invest in one. They're fabulous. Anyway, here's a piece of muslin, and I'm going to take my stamp and I'm going to put it right down onto the muslin, and then I'm going to burnish that right to the fabric. Now I'm using a Ranger scraper tool. You can use a bone folder if you want, or even a Pampered Chef Teflon scraper that many of us have at home. It doesn't matter. You just want to have a nice adhesion. Alright, and let's lift it up and see how we're doing. Hey, pretty good. I kind of like that. Okay, so I've just been drying this image because the next step that I'm going to use, I'm going to do the Dynaflow by Jacquard. This is a fabric dye. I love to use this to accent pieces such as this. So I'm going to turn this over and open up my dye. Now the Jacquard comes like bottles like this, but it also comes in trial packs. If you're wanting to try this, it comes in packs like this where you have all your primary colors that you can mix and match, which is kind of cool. I really like Jacquard products. So I'm just literally dipping this into my paintbrush, and I'm going to go, I've turned it over, and in the areas where you can see the carvings that I made on the stamp, I'm just kind of going over. I'm not doing it too heavy. If you notice, I'm only doing a little bit. I'm going to flip it over so you can kind of see how it's coming through. All right, I'm going to add a little bit more because I want it to show up a little bit more than that. All right, and I'm just going to go through this, and I'm going to cover this, and then I'll dry it, and I'll turn it over, and I will show you what it looks like. Okay, so here's how it looks. I think that looks fantastic. You can see where it's not perfect, and I love the imperfections, where some paint got in the grooves of my stamp, and that's okay. And I think it makes it all the more artistic. Says me, right? So anyway, I'm going to felt it. As you can see on my original, I did some little felt flowers, and I felted the sun here as well. I'm going to show you how to do that. It's really easy. Felting is a lot of fun and is great to do in front of the TV. Clover came out with these wonderful tools. This is the mat. This is the rake and mat cleaner. And this is their pen tool. Now the pen tool holds 3 felting needles. I don't know if you can see that. 3 felting needles. makes it a lot easier to do than just a single needle poking in and out. Clover also has a 5-point needle. It comes in a tool that looks like this. For this purpose, because we're only going to be using smaller areas, I'm just going to use the 3-point needle, the pen tool they call it, and the mat. So I'm going to place my painted muslin on the mat where I want to felt, and I'm going to do some, this is roving. It's what they call roving. It is pure wool. I do have this hand dyed here in Waterloo, and I have it for sale in my studio, but you can get roving in any craft store. Any craft store that sells felting tools. Michael's probably does. Different companies make it and put it out. Clover does as well. I kind of like the hand-dyed wools, so I have that brought in, but you certainly can use whichever you like. And just kind of grab some. You saw I used the rake. What I'm doing here is loosening all the fibers in the wool to help it felt together nicely on my project. So I'm just kind of opening up all the fibers, getting it ready to felt. I'm just going to kind of ball it by hand. That might even be a pretty big, I'm going to take some of that off. And I'm going to put it kind of where my flower on my project was, and I'm literally putting it on, and I am going to pounce the tool on top of it and see if I'm moving. I'm trying to do it for the camera so you can see it. I'm kind of shaping it as I go. I'm not doing a perfect circle. If I wanted a perfect circle, I could, but I'm just wanting to accent it. So there's a little dot. See how easy that is? See if I can show you that. And I'm going to take some more of that piece off that I ripped, and I'm going to do it over here. And we'll do one up here where this other stem is. The only thing you got to be careful about is not getting your fingers. That's one of the things I like about the tools. They keep your hands far enough back. And I'm just kind of hugging that. Oh, that's going to look great. And I'll do one over here as well. Why? Because I like threes. Those rules of threes are coming back to haunt me. All right, let's see if I can put that in. Here we go. Hopefully you can see that in the camera. All right, so I'm going to continue on like this. I'm also going to do one for a sun in the top corner, and I am doing that in the exact same way. I'll fix that in a minute. I'll show you. Not fix it. I will finish it in a minute. I have some orange and yellow roving here too. I'm going to take some of this off and separate these. Oops, I got another little fiber there. So yeah, you can just kind of with the bigger pieces do one of these with your fingers to separate all the fibers. I find though it doesn't quite give me enough, so I kind of like to go in and break them up even more. But you could do whichever you like. A little bit of both. Alright, so I'm going to grab enough for the sun. Remember the sun? It was a circle with triangles around it. It's the easiest way to do it I know of. So there we go. So I'm just going to put that on here. I probably could do this one with the 5-pin tool. Can you see me doing that there? So there, I'm going to flatten these a little bit more as I go, but so you know the triangle, it's the same way. You're going to put a blob on, and then you're just going to shape it with the tool. Alright, so I'm going to go and finish this, and then when I come back you can see the finished version of it. Okay. So here is my piece. I have the felted sun and the flowers there as well. You see I put a little bit of yellow roving in the center of the flowers to give it some more dimension and some texture. Here's the back. When you felt, you're literally pushing the roving right through the material. So you can see that on the back. I just wanted to show you that so you'd have an idea of what you're doing and how the felting works. Now I have the piece of muslin, and I also have a little piece of batting here because I'm going to quilt this using some blue thread because it will coordinate with my jean journal. and the colors that I've used here. And I am literally going to freeform all the way around the house and around the sun and the flowers. Now I just tried this earlier on the video and it does make it shake, so I'm going to go do that and come back. If you have a freeform foot on your sewing machine, please feel free to use that. I don't have one on here right now. I just got one and I haven't played with it yet, so I thought now's not the time to try. So anyway, I'm going to do this and I will come back and show you the results. Okay, so I have sewed the, here we are. I've sewed my fabric all around the edges of where my stamp lines were, and then I've trimmed around the outside edge, and we're ready to go and assemble the composition book. So what I've done is I've taken my denim fabric and some muslin, and with right sides facing, I have gone ahead and stitched along the edge of a piece of material that will cover the composition book. The measurements for this are posted right on the video for you. And I've left a hole in it so I can literally kind of stick my hand in and turn it around so that the right side is showing. And we have a nice clean edge here. Look at that, nice clean edge. And I'm going to iron these flat and then tuck the edges, here of the unfinished piece, and then sew it up so that we can assemble the book. Okay, so I will go and do that. Okay, so I have my sewn together piece, and I'm just going to put the composition book in and just kind of center it so that I know where I'm going to place my applique image. So that's about where I want my flaps to be, doing fairly loose. And you can see I have pinned it to the spot where I want it to go. Now I'm going to put it in the sewing machine, and on a zigzag setting, I'm going to zigzag all the way around the outside to applique it to the front cover. Okay, so I have my piece appliqued to the cover, and now I need to do a closure before I actually do the final stitching. And so I've got my cover pinned where I want it pinned, and I'm going to literally make an enclosure such as this so that I can put a button on it. I'm going to take one of the buttons off that shirt and use it actually. But so I've taken some more of the shirt, I've made a little bias tape with it, and I've cut a 2x2 square of the denim and of the batting. And what I'm going to do is kind of place, I'm going to sandwich the bias tape that I created in between two layers of the fabric, as so. And now I'm going to do like an X with the sewing machine between them just to keep them there. And hopefully this will work for me. Okay. So there's one strip of the X, and do it over on this side. Just wanted to make sure not a whole lot of the batting was showing. And here we are here. I just have the batting there to stabilize it. Okay. And I will trim off the excess. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this. Again, I'll probably use a zigzag stitch, but I might not. No, I'll just do a single stitch all the way around that square. I'm just trimming this up so it makes it look like a neater little square there. And we don't need these tails anymore. There we go. On the back, right about there. So I can remove these pins now because I have it placed. And I'm going to pin this in the spot that I want it. There we go. So I'm going to do a little stitch around the edge, and then we'll come back and finish up this project. Okay, so you can see I have that sewn on there. I'll remove all the little strands of thread a little bit. I've repinned it. Now I'm going to go with a straight stitch all the way around the outside edge, keeping in mind you don't want that in there, so you want to tuck that corner piece out when you get around with the sewing machine. And that will finish this book cover. So I will do that and put the book in and then show you the finished product. All right, so I will show you, I kind of went around the whole edge. You see that with the sewing machine? So I have my cover, and now it's time to put the composition book in. Oh, and make sure that this worked. Eek. Ooh, good, good, good. You want it tight, which is why I said to do it really close to the edge. And I always like to try to, oh, this is going to be good. Take a look. Woo! And there's the book, ready for a button. So I'm just going to sew a button on there from it. But there it is. Fantastic. I warn you now, once you've made one, you're going to make many. So have fun with it, be creative, try something new today, and thank you so much for joining me for this video. And thank you to the Canadian Scrapbooker. I am so looking forward to doing many more articles with you in the future. 2012 is looking mighty bright. Be sure to come back and check out another video where we'll be doing some fabulous flowers. Talk to you soon.